out there for you to engage in. So I know it seems a little formal. We have a panel up here. I think the process tonight is you can raise your hand and ask questions. Randy will introduce the panel, and they can maybe share who they are and what they do. And maybe that'll spur our conversations within this community, talk about maybe stuff that you have that you want to engage in. I also wanted to say a few little housekeeping rules in this process, is that if we are going to smoke outside, I would encourage you to pay attention to that little sign up there that says so many meters from that entrance to the door, so that we don't smoke there. Bathrooms are to the right, and just recycle if you can. That's it. So welcome, and Randy.
Thanks, Bob. So anyway, tonight what I'm trying to do is just bring to this community to begin the discussion on this matter. I'm sure some of you know I run a little store here in California. What I found since I've opened my store is that there's been so many people that have been coming in, that have been seeking information, or in fact trying to find out how they may go about getting their exemption. I'm not a medical user, but I have a tremendous, softness for people. I really enjoy sort of the richness of what this community is bringing me, and so this is a way of me giving a little back. I'm hoping tonight that what we can do is come to see where we go from here. As I said, I'm not a medical user, but I know within this community that there is a significant need, and there's a concern about this that I think many of us share. And so this is the idea here tonight, is to begin that dialogue and to try to find out where we do go from here. Now, in that, I thought I would bring in some wonderful people who have been very, very active within this process for a lot of years to try to discuss sort of where we've come from, where we might be at, and where to take this from here, what other organizations are working. I've got John Berfelo here, who works through the Green Cross Society. Now, he really will be offering up a testimonial on in terms of his use and what this has really brought to his life, and how it's affecting real change and greater understanding within the medical community in terms of his case. It's really quite wonderful to hear. We also have Jason Wilcox, who's been very active within medicinal marijuana and trying to bring that to people over in Vancouver Island. So he's been very, very active and proactive, and so has quite a history here. Kirk Tousaw is a lawyer and has been supporting, I guess, the furtherance of access for people in terms of medicinal marijuana, trying to define or maybe redefine some of the regulations that will grant greater access, greater freedom of access to people, and to try to have it extend that within the paradigm, I guess, of Health Canada and the medical marijuana regulations, so that it will serve the medical community properly. Dana Larsen on the far end here has been very active in a lot of ways. Former NDP candidate, but now is running the Vancouver medical cannabis dispensary. You've been open now for how long?
Since October, yeah.
Since October, your membership is continuing to grow. So really, these people are want to bring forward to you, and they're each going to bring something forward to talk about. As Bob said, I'd like to make this quite informal. So we'll have the first half of this meeting, we'll say the first hour, 45 minutes, or whatever, of this panel talking, free to ask questions. We'll then have a break. And then what I'd like is that we'll have people over here at the table, we'll have others, if you want to see about seeking your exemption information, because it can be a handful to try to fill out all of these applications. And so the second half really is going to be about sort of being able to come to these people and seek better understanding and things that might be more specific to you. And so some of this is about the element of privacy, and so I think I'd like to allow that in the second half. I think that serves really well. So anyway, first what I'll do is I think I'll start at the far end. Dana, if you're up for it, Dana, if you just want to give us like a little background and where you're at, and then we'll follow up with this.
Thanks, Randy, and it's wonderful to be here and see all these people here interested in learning more about this topic. I've been involved in marijuana legalization and drug policy reform work for pretty much all of my adult life, and over the years I was involved in the Marijuana Party, and I was the editor of Cannabis Culture magazine for over 10 years, and I've been working within the NDP and created a group called End to Prohibition, New Democrats Against the Drug War. But the most relevant of my projects is, as you mentioned, the Vancouver Medical Cannabis Dispensary Society, which I opened up in October, the 800 block of East Hastings, and it's actually pretty much right next door to another place that I helped create called the Vancouver Seed Bank. So they go both well together. And we started off in October. We've been slowly building. We now have over 200 members, and the criteria for membership in our club is pretty much identical to that of the other two clubs in Vancouver. We're the third club in the Lower Mainland, and about a quarter of our members are actual government card holders who have their official medical marijuana access regulation exemption. And about 3/4 or so are people who have a condition or a doctor's recommendation for marijuana. The system we use is if you have one of a certain category of ailments, we have about 10 ailments. If you have one of those, epilepsy, AIDS, cancer, severe arthritis, and numerous ones like that, then all we require is a statement of condition to prove that you actually have that diagnosis. But we definitely encourage the doctor to be involved and to be aware of the person's marijuana use and to be involved in the process. And we fit in pretty well with our community. It's something that your neighbors are sort of the people who be smoking marijuana everywhere, and who are these medical marijuana users that are going to be coming around. But we've had a very good relationship with our neighbors in our area. There's a community center on the corner, and we've had a good relationship with them. And for us, I think it's been important to sort of be open to what we're doing and making sure people know we're not a front for something, or we're not trying to pull something or whatever. Everything we say is actually true. We do what we say we do. And it's a very gratifying experience to be able to help people get their marijuana that they need. There are challenges in setting something like this up. It's difficult in terms of getting a business license from the city. They don't want to give you a license for that kind of thing, but at the same time, they're kind of loath to come down and cause problems for you either, or at least that's the case in Vancouver anyways, where the city council and the mayor have expressed support for medical marijuana over the years. And so you're kind of in this sort of gray zone where everyone knows what you're doing, but nobody comes and tries to stop you, but nobody really wants you to be official in that way either. But certainly we are registered as a non-profit society, which seems to be how most of the clubs kind of formalize their structure. We don't charge any GST or PST on our marijuana because that's a medicine and we don't charge those taxes on it, but we do all pay income taxes and keep all our books and have records and do as much as we can to fit into the mainstream financial world in that way. But it is kind of a, people we buy marijuana from don't necessarily want their records and things kept, so there's always issues about confidentiality and that kind of thing. But it's been a good experience for me. I enjoy doing it. It's been nice to be able to help a lot of people that need help, and it's nice to see the medical marijuana availability growing in Vancouver. There should be a lot more than 3 outlets as far as I'm concerned. Certainly there's a lot of people that have an interest and demand for this. And we try to help people become officially recognized through the government, to help them with their forms, to encourage them to begin that process so at least they have something happening in that direction. The government program is better than nothing, but it could certainly be a lot better, and they seem to do everything they can to make it as hard as possible to get through the process without actually blocking anybody from doing it if they try hard enough.